Hello and welcome back to the Aapna Reds Podcast, the podcast where we bring you everything you'd expect from a normal podcast, but with an added Patiala peg into the mix. We said last week we'd either be listening to Diljit Dosanjh or Deep Marnik, depending on the mood. And I tell you what, we've definitely got the Patiala peg going this week because what a week for Liverpool. 2 wins against 2 tough opposition teams that we thought Liverpool were going to struggle against, but you know, the Red Jats got it done for us. And as always, to talk about everything that went on, I'm joined by Anil. Anil, how you doing this week?
Good, that tells what you're saying.
All
good.
Good, all good.
All happy, everything good. Big smile on your face. I wonder why.
Well, I'm thinking you know the reason, don't you?
Well, that's it, man. We said it. Next time we meet, we could be top of the league.
Yeah.
Top of the league. You're having a laugh, eh?
I know. Santa Bamba's come early and given us a lovely...
He's a true red. He's a true red.
He is indeed. And as always, we've got plenty to talk about, and we've got some big talking points to talk about today. And we'll kick off with one of our big 3 points of this podcast, with it being the Palace game that we had on the weekend. And we mentioned last week a 12:30 kickoff. I know there were some jokes banded about to Jurgen Klopp after Liverpool's game midweek about, oh, you've got your favourite kickoff on a Saturday. And he shut it down very brutally and said, I don't think it's a laughing matter. You don't understand how difficult it is. Mm-hmm. So clearly he's getting quite frustrated with all these 12:30 kickoffs and all the media attention.
It's a joke, though, isn't it? It's an absolute joke, man. The amount that we've had compared to other teams, it's an absolute joke.
Anyway. And the thing is, we saw why, because we were absolutely awful in that game. Why don't you kick us off, Anna, with your just thoughts about the game and everything you thought about what Liverpool were in that first and second half, really?
We said it was going to be tough. I think when we mentioned it, we was trying to do our predictions. It's one of those early kickoffs. You just waking up, they're probably hungover from the night before. I don't think they are, but I'm giving you just a joke. But it's not the first thing you want to do, is it? You wake up, go to a game. It's just not what you want to do, man. You want to have a bit of time, job, funny vika, I'll do a bit of mutatik, and then go on your jolly way. But Liverpool, for some reason, just keep getting these 12:30 kickoffs, man. It's an absolute joke. I am starting to get to the point now where I'm thinking, are we just winning because we know how to win at this time now, because we've played so many times? And not so much the performance, but just they know what they need to do, maybe hold a bit in the tank towards the end of the games.
Yeah.
They don't put the teams away early, but they know they've got that mentality now where they think, well, hang on, we've been here before. We know what we can do. When they get a bit tired, we can bang in a goal and whatnot. So, yeah, I mean, I think you've already mentioned the game was a bit shit. Performance was a bit shit. But the result is all that matters. Mm-hmm. The result is all that matters. 2 goals, Oh, man, yeah. Defensively, it was all right, wasn't it? It wasn't too bad. I mean, there was still a couple of dodgy. I suppose I'll say it weren't too bad. We could have been
anyways. I think so.
I think I'm being a bit too nice. We potentially got a bit lucky. I think Klopp's used the word lucky a few times in the last week as well, which he never normally does. So I think we are riding our luck a little bit, but we are a team that are in transition. They are not fully aware of each other and what the system is, how to play with each other, but they're still grinding out the results. Mm-hmm. Only time will tell when we actually start clicking how good of a team we've got. But the fact that we're top of the table with a brand new midfield, with a team that doesn't know how to play together, with injuries to defence now, injuries to our strike force, injuries in midfield. You know what I mean? We've got injuries all over the place, but we're still top of the league and grinding out the results. You can't ask for any more. It's hard to say anything negative, but the defence was shit.
It is. Well, apart from the fact that the defence was absolutely awful. I'm there, team changes every single week. We've got injuries, and especially in that back line. I think we'll talk about the defence first of all. I think the big surprise was seeing young Kwanzaa. I know the man you said will be Liverpool captain one day. But away at Crystal Palace, a game which we know can be a tough game for us, was quite a surprise. And I think, seeing how we struggled defensively at the back, Van Dijk seemed to be a bit out of joint where he hasn't really looked like that in the past few weeks, having to cover and things. And I think that was quite clear at the fact that, we give away 2 penalties, one Van Dijk's and then the other one Kwanzaa that gives away himself. What did you make of that decision, especially when we knew the fact that Gomez was on the bench? Obviously, he had played midweek. We know that Matip is now out for the rest of the season with an ACL injury. Canard on the bench as well. We talked about him managing his game load, but you've got two established centre halves, arguably, 2 and 3 backup centre halves on the bench, and you've gone for the academy product. What did you make of that decision?
Nah, brilliant. I love Klopp for doing that, man. You are never ever going to get young players to become established first team players without giving them chances. And he's giving them chances. I think he's got a lot of trust in these young players that he's bringing on. And, look at, Kwanzaa's a good example. Look at Harvey Elliott. I mean, he's putting a lot of trust in him these days as well. And, by Chetic, when he comes back, he's going to be one of the main guys. You got a lot of young players that he's molding. And you know what happens when Klopp molds players? They turn into legends. So It's exciting times, man. I'm really excited about Kwanzaa because I genuinely think he's going to be a main defensive partnership at some point in the next couple of years. And he's looking good, man. He's looking very good. You're going to make the odd mistake here and there. Don't get me wrong. Everyone does. If you're looking for a team that don't make any mistakes, don't look at Liverpool. We make mistakes all day long, every match. So for someone to come in so young and have such an impact, it's amazing, man. Amazing, good feeling. What's your take on me saying that Kwanzaa's going to be a future captain?
I see it. I really do see it. I think just he reminds me in sort of like how he plays and just who he is in a Reece Williams sense, but also the fact that he just seems a bit more composed. He just seems a bit sort of commanding. He also seems a lot more athletic as well. And I think to Reece Williams when he played for us, he was brilliant, but he just didn't have what you thought would be, needed at that back line for a long period of time. Whereas I think Kwanzaa's got that. And I definitely agree with you. I think at some point he probably will end up being, a future Liverpool captain, barring, doesn't have any long-term injuries. I also think back and look at the fact that we said the same thing about Joe Gomez when he sort of started establishing himself in the Liverpool team. And the issue is that you sort of get to a point where the game changes a little bit. And I just think that he doesn't get left behind in that. Obviously, we know the pace was everything for Joe Gomez, but also the strength and sort of...
what the thing with Joe Gomez is, though? He was used as a centre-back, as a makeshift centre-back. I don't think he ever was brought in as a, he's going to be replacing the centre-back. I'm sure it was a right-back.
Yeah, he was
a left-back. He was a right-back or left-back. So he came in as a right-back, and then he just got used all over the place. He just got used and abused.
But we've seen that with Kwanzaa as well. Kwanzaa's played left back already for us. He's played at centre half. So
I'm hoping he just sticks with centre, man, because we got something there. We got something. But just you mentioned Joe Gomez. How good has he been recently? I know he's made a few mistakes. Yeah, but he has been great, man.
He's always been incredible to come in whenever we needed him. He's got that recovery pace. He's an outstanding player. I just want him to get a bloody goal because, oh my God, every week chance he either skies it or he just fluffs it. And I just think, good there, just put the ball in the back of the net and just get it.
He's trying to do a Matip. He gets forward enough and just can't put the ball in the
net. But I think a big point for our sort of defense this week was the fact that we had Alisson Becker back. The Jap. I couldn't believe it. I want to know how much haldi they gave him, how much haldi dod they gave the Bunda.
Rubbing it into his
Polish. He's come back a different man. Same old Alisson though, getting the saves in that we need him to make. But how big is it to get him back, especially for this Palace game?
You could tell. You could tell the difference just by having Kelleher there a couple of games. You can see how rough it was for him. How more likely the other teams are to have a go, shoot, go one-on-one. Alisson's in goal. These strikers are fearful. They don't want to get in that one-on-one position. They're looking for crosses. They're looking to trying to get past him. They're looking to trying to avoid being shown up because that's what he does. One-on-one, you ain't getting past him. And just having him there, the mentality of the defense changes. You can see they're a lot more comfortable going up. They're a lot more comfortable passing back.
Yeah.
It makes a massive difference, man. Having a goalkeeper on form makes a massive difference. Look at Arsenal. You know what I mean? They haven't got that same feeling we get with our goalkeepers, and that's what's letting them down. They can't trust the goalkeeper.
Even when they've got two incredible Premier League goalkeepers, they still don't have the right sort of system to make sure that they're playing at the best that they can that we've seen them play.
It's like having two wives in it. How are you going to keep them both happy?
There's going to be a lot of trips to the shop. Yeah, well,
you pick one, man. You can only eat one type of roti.
You can. That's the one made by your caring wife. Until he gives you a call and says,
which one is it, Ramsdale or?
That's Arteta's problem. That's Arteta's problem, isn't it? But I'm just glad, like you said, that Liverpool don't have that issue, and we saw how important Alisson is. And I think the big part was the fact that we go 1-0 down. We just didn't look like we were in the game whatsoever. And the saves that he made, the one, he just, I don't know even if it was a good save, but somehow he's kept the ball from going in the net and span it onto the post. But you just need a goalkeeper.
He does it, don't it? If it wasn't him and it was Kelleher, it would have gone in.
Yeah, it'd gone through.
The problem we got now is, what do you think? Do you think Kelleher's a good number 2? Because he's had a few games now this season where he's been okay, and some games he's been brilliant, but then he's up and down, isn't he? He's up and down. Is he a good number 2?
Well, I mean, this is the other thing is I look back at when we had Adrian and when we had, Mignolet and Carey. Yeah, he is, and I will never be able to look the man in the eyes. When he first came, I was so happy because at West Ham, amazing goalkeeper. I thought he was a perfect number 2 that we needed. Yeah. And then when it came to it, and you asked the man to just kick the ball long, don't play short, just kick it long. He just couldn't do it. Whereas I think he's a lot more composed with his feet. He's a good shot stopper, but I just don't think he's as a commanding presence as Adrian.
He hasn't got the build, has he? He doesn't seem as big and strong as.
And I think that's the only thing that lets him down. And I think that's sometimes why I feel reluctant, when he's in net for Liverpool, because he has got the ability. But the other thing, you don't want, 2 goalkeepers like Arsenal, because this is a problem every single week. They've got a dilemma, but you don't want, when your goal goes down, to have someone, who's an absolute lulu. So
there's talks of him going as well, though, weren't there? There was talks of him going out potentially because he was unhappy not getting enough games. He's getting enough games now.
Yeah.
Maybe he's realizing, maybe being number 2 is a good thing.
Yeah. Well, he gets to play all the cup games. He gets to play a lot as well. So, that's something that you're guaranteed, really, as opposed to it being, you could, like, for example, I look at Nottingham Forest. They bought in, Matt Turner, and then next minute, they buy another goalkeeper, and your sort of spot goes up for jeopardy. And Crystal Palace, you got Sam Johnston, and you got Dean Henderson. It's like, well, then you're fighting for a number 1 spot when you just want that, number 1 man, trust him every single time. Get the job done.
At least we know who number 1 is and who we can rely on. But how did he come back so quick, man? Flipping out.
I know. I honestly don't know. It must be a Brazilian thing. It must be God knows what. Or he's just got the target of, I don't know, like a shear or something, because he came back never injured.
Maybe he went to Brazil and got a BBL.
Maybe. Brazilian backline protector. Like he's done something, but as long as he keeps saving it, he can put whatever he wants into that trunk.
He needs to send Nunes there, man.
We'll get on to Nana Nunes later on, but we'll move forward a little bit to the fact that because Alisson was in goal and because of the fact that we didn't concede more than 1, it meant that we could get back into the game. And Mohamed Salah, the man who I don't think we give enough praise to, but also I think he's a man who's just someone who I wish he just had a bit more composure sometimes, because in the past 2 weeks, he just seems to just snatch at opportunities. And we all know why. It's because he wanted it. And he got it. Not the goal that I thought he was going to get. It was a jamming deflection goal, but he'll be happy he got it. And what did you make of Salah?
You know what? You hit the nail on the head, man. He's been struggling because in the back of his head, all he's been thinking about is getting past that milestone.
Yeah.
And even Klopp mentioned, I don't know if Klopp was doing it as a diss or whether he was just generally being Klopp. He's like, we've had this 200 shirt for about 2 weeks sitting in the back waiting for him to score. In his interview, I was like, all right, mate, chill out.
Yeah.
But I think there's a weight lifted off his shoulder now. And I think we're going to see the best of him now. Watch.
I do hope so. And the thing is,
hat-trick against United, but we won't go there yet.
We won't upset him yet. We'll keep him up, keep him on the leash, let him know that it could happen. It's happened before, it can happen again. But I think, we talked about before the fact that he's really gelling with, the front line with Nunes, even with, Diaz as well, and especially Szoboszlai. They really are gelling well as a unit together. And I think that the fact that he has scored 200 goals for Liverpool, he's up there now as one of Liverpool's all-time top goal scorers. Premier League up there as well. Let's give him a moment and just talk about how good the man has been for Liverpool. And to be honest, we said, get whatever money you can for him, but I just don't think you can replace Mohamed Salah whatsoever.
I don't think we should. In the summer, was probably wrong saying, we should just take the 200
Yeah,
mil.
I agree.
At the time, I didn't think he was going to be as important as he has been this season.
Yeah.
So hindsight's a beautiful thing, isn't it? I genuinely thought he was on the down, but he just seems to be getting better and better. Don't get me wrong, the last few performances haven't been the best, but that being said, he's important. He still creates that fear in defenders. The fact that he's got the ball, he could run at you any minute, he could take you on and make you look stupid. I think that opens up a lot of space for the others up front. So just that in itself is good, having him on the pitch. These goals speak for themselves. Jesus Christ, how many goals has he got now? Well, 200 obviously, but he just doesn't stop scoring, does he? We don't want him to stop scoring. I don't think he'll ever get to Roshi levels, but he'll get another 50. He'll get another 50. He'll get to 250.
100%. I mean,
as long as he stays.
He doesn't. He looks after himself. He doesn't drink anything like that. He could genuinely play for so many more years and still, sort of have the ability, because he just seems to just always be fit and ready. Even when he's not feeling his best, he still seems to get the job done. And even when he's playing crap and has a bad game, like the Palace game, he comes back with a goal and assist. So, he's one of those players that is so important. And like you said, I agree with you. I think we were wrong in the summer. I think we were sort of blinded by all the Bessie, all the Maya.
That's what it was, man. The Aapnanas came out of us.
It must have done, because we saw all the Bessie, saw all the money signs, and we forgot about everything that we had in front of us. And I think he's remarkable this season.
That's it, man. But yeah, man, long live the king.
Long live the king, indeed. And the king set up his prince, by the sounds of it, in Harvey Elliott to get us the winning goal in a game which I thought was going to be a draw. I thought it was going to be a point.
What a goal.
And wow, Harvey Elliott, I think, is a man who deserves a lot more opportunities in this team, especially the midfield problems that we've got going on. And he seems to be set now as our midfielder. He's sort of edged away from playing on the wing. He looks so much more comfortable in midfield. And he looks so much more confident because, to take on the strike, we've seen him, I think it was against Wolves, was it, where he got that deflected one that went in, and he had the sort of power and the confidence to shoot from outside the box. But to come up big in stoppage time and get that goal was summit. And wow, just wow.
We seem to be getting a lot of them these past few weeks, in these late winners that allow us to just like jump up and down and scream. But Harvey Elliott is an amazing player. Still young as well, what, 20, 21?
Yeah, he's still very young.
Yeah, he's got time. He's under Mo Salah's wing. I listened to their interview after the win. That was quite nice to know. He's like, I'm always encouraging him to stay back and practice with me, meet me in the gym. So he's basically trying to mold him into maybe a replacement in the future sometime, which, God knows we'll need once Mo Salah goes. We're going to get to replace us. But if Harvey Elliott keeps developing the way he is, maybe we've got a ready-made. We don't have to spend 200 million on a player to get someone. At the moment, though, I do feel he's better off the bench. I don't think the games where he started, he's as impactful when he comes off the bench. And I think that's because he's so fast, so nippy around the defense when they're tired, though.
Yeah.
And it makes him look a lot better. So every time he's been coming on, he's been looking amazing. And I think we need to keep using that. Klopp's probably seen that as well. And there are certain players, back in the day, Solskjaer used to be the same, used to come on, used to be super sub for Man United. And I think he's turning into someone that you can rely on to come on and just torment the defense when they're knackered, to the point where they're like, you know what, we can't do anything. And that goal, man, he's got that in the locker. Yeah. He's got it in the locker. Yes. So it's nice that it came out when we needed it.
It did. And I think it was one of those goals that we won't realise the importance of it. And you mentioned in the last few weeks we've been getting those points. But I look back to the season we won the league. I look back to the season where we went very close to winning the league. And these are the games where you have to have that bit of luck, bit of magic to get points against these teams. Because if you look back at it, Liverpool have only lost the one game this season.
A dodgy game.
Just the one game, which was the most controversial, the game they didn't lose. And so you're looking at an unbeaten Liverpool team, really, in our eyes. And I think that's forgotten about. But we know that when we pretty much were unbeaten, we lost only one game the entirety of the season. It was draws that killed us. And so goals like that, the goals like, Trent scores in, the game before, these are the goals that make the difference in the long run. As you can see, it's the reason why we're sat top of the table this week.
That's a good point, though. It's always been draws that kill us. And you always look at the table and you think, hang on, that's not too bad. You've got teams above us who have lost 3-4 more games than us.
Yeah.
How are we not top? But then you look at the draws and it's like double figures, and we needed to get out of that. And at the moment, we are getting out of it, but not convincingly though.
No.
I mean, I'll take them. I'll take a win however they come, but it's not a convincing, dominant team. But then at the same time, Arsenal against Luton the other day. You know what I mean? That's sometimes what you need to do.
Well, even Man City this weekend as well. Somehow just get a result against Luton at their place too. So
that's it, man. Just you need to stay within touching distance, which is what Klopp's been saying. Look, if we're within touching distance, come April, May, then we're doing a good job, because then we can start talking. I mean, we're obviously, as Liverpool fans, we're getting excited. We're top of the table, but I think it's a bit of false reality at the moment. The teams around us are shit. We're not exactly great, but we're making the best of a bad situation. So I suppose the only team that you can say around us that's absolutely smashing is Villa. Every other team around us aren't really firing at the moment, which it's going to make the end of the Premiership very exciting when we start getting to the business end. But so far, so good, man. Can't complain.
So far, so good is definitely what we can say. And I think it's going to be pretty clear this week who's probably going to become our Mixie man of the match for the Liverpool versus Palace game. I know, who do you think it's going to be this week? Who are you going to take for a bit of food? What do you reckon you're going to treat him to as well?
Ooh, the Palace game. You know what, man? I really want to give it to Endo, man.
Oh, but it's who I thought we were going to mix ground. Bloody hell.
I was going to say, we got to give it to Mo, though, haven't we?
Yeah, I know.
We've got to give it to Mo, but you know what, man? I'm loving it. I'm loving the Japanese Jadutuna, man. He is killing it. I love his play. I love his tenacity. I love the way that he plays. But Endo, sorry, mate. It's got to be. There's only one and only. We're taking the Raja to the Mixie this year. This year, yeah, probably will be this year. Every single week. Mo Salah, man. Has to be, man. Yeah. Has to be.
Definitely. I think as well we might have to bring Harvey Elliott along just for the winner, because I think he needs a bit more mass on him as well. So if we give him a bit more mass, maybe that will.
He could be the kid in the corner having the masala chips in it.
I mean, give him the masala chips, kids menu, chicken nuggets, whatever. We'll have a mixed grill instead. So hopefully with Salah and Harvey Elliott there, I think definitely this week
without a doubt, the right wingers will get some chicken wingers, eh?
Go on. They'll be happy. Some bang bang shrimp as well if they're lucky. Mm-hmm. We need to show him the different ways of the world, especially to Harvey Elliott, because he's
not been, has he? We've not taken him before.
No, he doesn't look like he's a cultured man either. So I think we need to show him the Punjabi style to everything.
Oh man, you never know. I might just put a bit of a bump in him. You know what I mean? When they're coming out after a mixed grill, it might make him go a bit faster.
That, or he's going to come back with I don't even know. He's going to come back with a full by the end of it. But what about then for the Jabir this week? Do you reckon there's anyone that deserves it? Do you reckon there's anyone who can escape it this week? Or do you think there's going to have to be a few handed out in the dressing room?
It's going to be a hard one this week, isn't it? I think you kind of edge towards Nana a little bit, innit? Because he's just not doing
Why
it.
Nana? What's Nana done this week? Go on, tell us.
What has he done? What has he done? Nah, it'd be harsh. It'd be harsh to give it to him. But out of the whole team, the only one I could pick is him because of, I suppose, I was going to say his lack of contribution, but he does contribute. He just doesn't contribute with goals. So it's a bit difficult. I mean, defensively, you can't say we've been too bad. Obviously, there was a couple of incidences where we looked a bit dodgy, but I suppose that's every game. You can't have a game where for 90 minutes we've absolutely dominated and the other team have had not one chance. There's always going to be one or two. So you can't knock the defense too much. Midfield doing what the midfield do. Soboslai obviously had the goal as well midweek. He's playing well. Gravenberch, I can't wait till he starts becoming a starter. You know what? Cody's playing good as well recently.
He is. He's firing it back as well. I'm liking the way he's...
Cody's surprising me because he's not... I expected him to be after the World Cup like a goal scorer. But he's more of a creator. He's more of a number 10, isn't he? He's more of a number 10. And he's playing that role really well. Endo, man. I'm loving Endo. let's have a couple of minutes on Endo, man.
You got your favourites at the moment, haven't you?
I'm
What?
telling you.
He's discarded Nana. He said, Nana Nunes, you can go sit in the corner. Now,
Nah. He's still my first choice striker. He's still my first. I'm just disappointed with him. He's just not performing at the moment. He's still my number one. My backbone, Alisson, Kwanzaa, Endo. I'd have Gravenberch in there. So they're my two in the midfield and Nana up front. That's my backbone.
That's your spine.
That's my spine, man.
Yeah.
Not
So
very,
what
not
is
very
it about
good one,
Endo?
though, is it?
What's making you happy about Endo at the moment then?
Just, you know what, man? We need someone in the midfield that is the old style Klopp, which is just run after the ball and put them under pressure and put in a tackle and, you know, make the other team think before they get a chance to put a pass in. The last few weeks, Liverpool have been giving the opposition too much time on the ball.
Yeah.
They're looking up. They're looking for passes. They're putting long balls in. Endo's coming out of nowhere. He's like, what? I don't know. These Japanese Akita up my feet. What's going on? Oh, man, I messed up the camera on my laptop doing that. There you go.
Get too excited. Too much
Got too
tenacity.
excited. Even my dog's got up, man. Talking about Japanese Akitas. Don't worry, babe. Don't worry. It's okay.
Panicking.
But yeah, man. Don't you agree? What do you think? He's not getting the plaudits he should be, but you know what?
No, I agree with you. I think he's what we need. But do you think he's what we need long term though? Do you think no? Just a little cover one. Just making sure. Just making sure.
No. He's just a little. He's just a little.
Is he on a temporary visa? Is that what you're telling me?
He'll be good for the cup competitions. Say again.
He's on a temporary visa to stay in the CDM position.
Right, yeah, true, man. True. Yeah, man. You know what? Yeah, I can't speak highly of him at the moment, as I am. I'm trying to, but can't speak highly enough of him at the moment. But yeah, long term, we do need a CDM. But Klopp doesn't look like he wants one.
No, but I think they're just keeping it quiet. I think they're keeping it quiet. They probably do know who they want.
Okay, do you think he knows?
Yeah, of course he does. I don't know
who
it's going to be. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
he knows he needs one. He knows he needs one. I just think he's keeping it quiet, just focusing on the games. I think in January, especially knowing the fact that there's a winter break in there as well, there's not too much pressure. There's not too many games going on. I think he will get someone in and let them bed in slowly.
He doesn't like spending money though.
They'll find money from somewhere. They've got
money. I'm not saying they haven't got money. He doesn't like spending it. I'm pretty sure he's probably on some deal saying that if you don't spend money, you can have 25% of what you don't spend. So he's like, yo, forget this.
The thing is, in January, we do our smart business already. If you look at Diaz in January, we get our deals done then. And I think it will be a player like that. You know, it could be a young player. It could be maybe even an older player. But it's going to be someone who fits that bill. They just need a bit of time to bed into the system. But in the long term, I think they'll be perfect for that position.
No, Andre.
You never know. Klopp Mama's got it all figured out. We've got to trust the process. We can't be doubters. We've got to be as he said.
We are believers.
As for my Jabir, I think I'm going to have to give it to Kwanzaa and Van Dijk together.
Okay.
That I couldn't. When I watched both the penalties, I just thought, what are these they doing? You know what I mean? Like, what was the need? And I think they should need reminding, like, this is not preseason. This is not playtime. Now we've got something to lose. Before it was like, oh, haha, we're having fun now in the top four. Now we're sat pretty at the top, and we've seen that teams have had a few losses. I'm not having lose ruin it for us.
You're going against Van Dijk, man. You've come over to the dark side. You've come over to the dark side.
Not like a heavy one, just a little, around the buta, remind him, just your captain, sort it out, just get back to it, because he's been playing great football. But I think, with Kwanzaa in there and Matip, going missing, I think now he just needs to bed his feet a bit deeper and just make sure he's stable at the back there, because we can't afford, especially when he's playing on a yellow card, and we've seen how they banned out second yellows. Can't be missing a few games. So you just need to find him. And I think after that, I'll let him off. No one else can get a Jabir from me.
No, man. If you give Kwanzaa a Jabir too early, it's like, like when you give a little kid a slap and they just change.
All I know is I was never sort of avoided a slap when it was early for me. So he's not going to avoid one either. So he's got to get it. Got to be reminded early doors. Shearer just, you know what I mean. But
Know your role. Know your role. Don't place. Try and step out.
Learn a bit faster, mate, is what I'm trying to say.
Fair enough.
Move back.
Man, a bit ruthless today, Taz.
look, we've got to get it through. We've got to get it going because I know the game that's coming up on the weekend. It's panicking me deep down. We won't go into it just yet, but I just want to make sure that they're ready for it, ready for a Jung, ready for a Larai. So, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, we'll go back to the Sheffield United game, the game before the Palace game, which we had midweek. We know the fixtures are coming thick and fast, and it was a really tough game. Obviously, we talked about the fact that Sheffield sat their manager, Chris Wilder, back, a man who's been incredible at Sheffield United, who's really got him playing, and he's already got him a good few results. He got a result against Brentford at the weekend, and I think they could be on an upturn of form. But Liverpool haven't got the business done. A 2-0 victory. Again, another game where we don't really play our best. We didn't look comfortable. It seemed very end-to-end. It seemed like the old school Liverpool that you clearly have got manifest into existence now by talking about it. The end-to-end chaoticness, just with less goals included. But it was one of those games, Liverpool went at their best. But they come away with points. What did you make of it? And what did you make of the goals as well?
It went exactly the way I think we mentioned the last time we spoke on Monday. It was going to be a tough away game. Hard to break down teams that are literally just trying to defend, and then counter. They had a couple of good counter attacks. Obviously, there's early. I think they had a couple of chances early doors, didn't they, before we got our first goal?
Yeah.
So again, is that luck? Did we defend it well? I don't know. It's just I'm never comfortable with Liverpool going away to lower table teams, especially like midweek. There's just that feeling of imagine you had to go for work somewhere in the, deep. Well, it's not even that far. Sheffield's not far from Liverpool, but it's just the fact that it's like midweek, it's late, it's already dark, it's winter, it's cold.
Like Klopp said, they wouldn't have got back until early hours of, Thursday morning. So it is difficult when you think about it as well.
That's it. And then you've only got Thursday evening to recover, and Friday, and then you got the early morning Saturday. It's just, it's not a joking matter. But just take that early Saturday kickoffs out of the way. Just playing late on a midweek is not. It doesn't feel right, especially when it's cold, especially when it's dark.
Mm-hmm.
We know how it feels playing five-side. You can just imagine. What it feels like playing in front of thousands of fans, and you've got to try and raise your level up. And you can see it in the players. They're not. When they come to win, and you can see it in them. You can see in the way they play that they've come to win. That game, it just felt like they were there to go through the motions and just make sure they don't lose and hope to win. You can kind of, mate. Look, I'm just talking from my own perspective, but I'm sure the players will say, "What you want about me? You change shit." But it's hard to get motivated for games like that. But we got the result. That's the main thing.
Definitely.
What was the first goal?
It was Trent's cross into the box where he pulled his Gacheri down as well. Gave everyone a flash. But clearly
Van
Van Dijk. Yeah.
That's good goal, actually.
First goal,
how it came to him.
First goal for Liverpool this season.
Which, again, is another shock. I thought he had a couple.
I know.
Maybe he just he's living off his goals from last season, isn't it?
Must be.
He needs to step it up, mate. He needs to step it up. Your boy needs to step it up.
That's why I gave him a Jabir this week. I'm trying to remind him to get it going again.
No, your boy, knowing it.
He's not thriving.
No, it was a good goal, man. It was a good goal. Did he push? He pushed the player, didn't he, to get a bit of space?
No comment. VAR didn't pick it up. There was a bit of pulling going on.
VAR didn't think it was, so we're not going to say it was. But yeah, man, to get that much space. But 9 times out of 10, people shoot from there. It goes over the bar.
Yeah.
Over the stadium, into someone's backyard. But it was a good goal. Good goal.
Definitely. And then the second one, Nana Nunes, we've been saying he didn't do much on the weekend, but maybe he used up all his energy to bring and win the ball back at the end of the game. But I know there was a few talks of it being a foul, but in my eyes, it was a clean tackle.
Again, wouldn't VAR bring it back if it was?
Yeah, because we really trust VAR with all this decision. But I do think it was a clean challenge. If you won the ball, I get through, but he clearly got the ball with one of those wrap tackles. But to set up Dom Szoboszlai, I can't lie. Before he had to go and win the ball back, he had the easiest ball on to slip it. And he has to do it in the Nana way of just, Dodjiwadi, and just goes back and somehow then picks out an absolute perler to him. And Szoboszlai just again, what an
With
incredible.
Nunes, though, he scored those 2 bangers against Newcastle
Yeah.
from very similar positions. That he keeps missing shots now. So I don't get it. Like I think
He's snatching at a lot of the chances. Though I look at every single game since then, when it's worked well for him, is he just sort of like pop shots and it's a goal.
Yeah. Don't think about it.
Because everything else,
Don't
he
think
snaps
about it.
the amount of time through and just shoot straight away. Just a bit of composure, but I just don't think he's that kind of player. Where
No, I don't know if what you're saying is opposite to me. I think he thinks too much.
you think?
I think he thinks too much. I think when he's got time to think is when he's less likely to score. Because in his head, he's probably thinking, "Oh shit! I can't miss this. I can't miss this." Whereas, when he's through and he's not thinking about it, and he knows exactly where the goal is and what he needs to do, I think that's probably when he's more likely to score. Especially in the kind of form he's in now, he goes that many games without a goal. I'm pretty sure strikers go for these patches where they just keep thinking too much and not sticking to their general ability that they should have. You know what I mean? You pay that much for a player, you expect them to be top class regardless. And I'm sure he's still banging them in training because Klopp keeps picking him, so he must be trying to build that confidence back up by getting him a few goals during game time.
But I think he plays the best when Salah's on the pitch. And obviously, Salah comes a bit early in that game, and he just seemed a bit lost then. But when he's almost Trent just sat behind him, and he's got the midfielders sort of helping him out, he plays so well in the link-up. He's linked up so well this season. The amount of assists he's got this season has gone under the radar as well because he's creating. Sometimes he sort of doesn't score, but he still gets a goal every so often. Once those goals start going in, as we keep on saying, he's just absolutely insane for Liverpool, and he's still young. He's still getting used to everything. But yeah, he's Nano Nunes. You gotta love him. He's honestly all over the place, but he's all over the place player.
What would you take for him as a? I mean, I know what he would want as a striker, but what would you take? 20 assists and 5 goals all season, or for him 20 goals and 5 assists? Is that what it? What would you?
The thing is, though, is our front three obviously chipping a lot of the goals, but with our midfield and everyone like that, and there's less need for the front three to score as much. You know, Salah's going to score his normal 25 goals a season. Diaz get 5, Jota will get 10, 15. So sometimes we don't need him to be able to bang in the goals, but we need
the assist more
that he gets. So if he can keep creating and still put Salah on the plate, put Jota on the plate, and help the other players around him, perfect. But you obviously you know the answer. You want him to get 20 goals. He's your star. Paid a lot of money for him. You know his job is to score, and we've seen it in the Champions League. He absolutely tore us apart in the game he played against us. He was absolutely immense, and he's got it in his locker. I just think he needs a bit of sort of bedding in, a bit of comfort, and he's going to be all right.
He needs like a sports psychologist. I don't know if he's already got one, but he needs like that boost in it. He needs like a mental boost of. A lot of players talk about it when they speak to these like therapists. Not about anything in particular, but just about getting back to the roots of football. Why you're doing it, enjoy it, go out on the pitch and just basically play the way you used to play when you were a kid. Go out there trying to just enjoy it rather than with that massive pressure on your shoulders of I need to score, which I think is how he's playing at the moment, and which is how Salah was playing for the last few couple of weeks. He was playing with that expectation on his shoulders that stopped him from enjoying the game. Watch him now, though. I genuinely think he's going to come out a different player. He's got past that milestone. That's what I was kind of hoping would happen with Nunes. Get a few goals and then, start banging him in for job.
I do think that it will be all right. But I think, as we've always said, he just needs a bit of time, a bit of confidence. As soon as he gets one, the floodgates will open all over again. So for that game then, who are we taking for a mixie? Who are we giving a beard to? And how are we going to celebrate with them this week? Do you want me to start off?
Yeah, you start, because it's a tough one, that one is. Because no one really had a brilliant game. But go on. I'll see what you say first.
I think it's going to have to be Dom Szoboszlai in that game. I think he's another man. He goes under the radar sometimes how well he plays for us when he doesn't. He's running up and down that pitch the entire length of the Sheffield game, and we needed him. Every time it was a counter-attack, he was the first one to be pegging it down the pitch, either progressing the ball forward or just stabilising the attack. It could have easily been Trent because Trent put in some great crosses that easily could have been finished. But I just think Szoboszlai in the midfield that game, it just went under the radar how well he was doing, and I'm biased because he's so good for Liverpool. Time. And again, I want him to get comfortable. I want to treat him, get him a bit of Carnine. You know what I mean? Again, I don't know what they eat over there.
Well, we've taken him a couple of times. We have taken him a couple of times,
but again, just get him used to it. You know what I mean? Let him bed in again. Get him a bit of Carnine. No one can say.
You know what I
mean? Like,
he's not going to be Szoboszlai anymore.
It'll be worth more.
He's going to be Szoboszlai. He's sitting on the sofa just slobbering away.
All right, just stop upsetting him, man. Just let him eat his Carnine, man. As long as he keeps scoring, as long as he keeps providing, he can eat as much as he wants.
Nah, I'm not going to disagree with that. And it quite easily could have been any of the defenders, to be fair. We had a clean sheet. So we could have quite easily given it to Kelleher because he got a clean sheet as well. And he made a couple of good saves. Trent, like you said, was instrumental and obviously could have had a couple of assists if the donkey up front actually got on the end of a couple.
Salah had a few as well that he could have buried.
Salah had a couple as well. I mean, I'm letting him off because he was trying to get that 200 goal milestone. So I know he's not been playing to his best. So I'm not going to disagree with you. I'll give it to him as well.
Yeah. Any Jabirs this week? Because I think I'm going to keep my hands in my pockets for that game because I think they played pretty well and got the job done, even though it wasn't the sort of attempt that we thought they were going to play in the end.
I think considering the type of game it was, when it was, who it was against, the kind of, cold, late, dark night, they all did their job. They got a 2-0 win. Nah, let's leave our hands in our pockets this week.
Yeah, we'll keep them warm. Keep them warm for the next time they need a Jabir instead.
Hopefully we don't.
But you never know with Liverpool. As we always know, they always do something that they need to be Jabired and reminded of. But we'll move on and we'll sort of cap off as well with a new section to our podcast this week to try and get everyone else involved, but also have a good little chat about what we think about the team. And we'll head to the sideline, switch up a little bit, and come out with a question which we think will be quite interesting to have a little chat.
I'm excited. Let's go. I'm excited.
So, as we all know, Punjabi weddings, one of the greatest occasions. Everyone loves it. Gore, Kale, Chachi, Mama. Everyone loves a Punjabi wedding. But what would happen if we invited the entire Liverpool team to a Punjabi wedding? Now, we know Punjabi weddings, there's a lot of things that go on, a lot of bhangra, a lot of khana, but there's also a lot of bhangra that go on as well. So, for you, Anil, who do you think would start the bhangra? Who do you think would throw the first fist? Who do you think would start the Rai at the Punjabi?
There's only one. Nana Nunes, man. It has to be. How many times has he gone face to face with Guardiola? Got sent off on his first game for Liverpool. He's putting tackles that should truly have been red cards. This geezer is uncontrollable. He's Suarez 2.0. 2.0, you know what I mean? The only thing left for him to do is bite someone, and I think it's coming.
Maybe it'll be at the party. I genuinely think it will be because, I don't know, maybe someone's eating the last fish pakora or something on the table and he's that hungry, he's had a bit too much and he's got to get back on the dance floor. And I reckon he'll just go and have a Dundee or someone, you know what I mean? I wouldn't surprise
100%. Do you reckon he'd be able to get the food in his mouth? Because he always seems to miss the net.
That's terrible. You know what? I wouldn't trust him. You know what?
That's why he's so. But you know what I mean?
You'll have to sit next to him and feed him. You'll have to sit there and help him out.
Get him in a headlock, mate. But yeah, without a doubt, man, you know he's getting in a fight, 100%. With the groom's dad, or definitely someone very, very close to the bride and groom. If not the bride and groom himself, he'd probably punch the bride in the face. To be fair, he's that kind of player. So yeah, Nana Nunes, 100% fight starter at an Indian wedding.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I also think someone else too.
All of it. We agree with all of
it. 100%. I can't debate that. I knew it was going to be Nana Nunes. But I think also one man as well. There's probably two actually that I actually think they do the exact same thing, and they are the kings of tactical fouls, and that is McAllister and Thiago. Now Thiago sat in the injury room. He's just come out in a wheelchair for this Punjabi wedding. But I honestly think that on the dance floor, they'd get a bit too much going, and someone would barge into them, and they'd just trip them up, and they'd just put them straight on the floor, and that would be it. From there,
Nunes would come along and absolutely wail them.
Yeah, and that's when Nunes comes in. McAllister, he's a little feisty one. He can get it going when he wants to, and Thiago's got it as well. But I think Thiago would have a bit more flair. He'd just, you know what I mean, like trot
So
on.
he'd do on a slide, punch someone in the face, and then quickly scoot out.
I think McAllister would just 2-foot someone and then walk away. But them two, tactical fouls at the wedding on the dance floor, and I think that would start the riot. And then Nunes would just, kung fu kick one of the Chachi in the face, and then the police are called, and the wedding's been ruined because Nanda Nunes can't control himself.
I kind of think, I forgot his name now. Liverpool Scouser in the midfield.
Jones.
I think he's got a bit in him.
You reckon?
Yeah, man.
I just reckon you'd be a bit overwhelmed, and you'd just be like, people with like the rest of the Scouts lot,
or maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's just Scouse accent. Because
the thing is, like, on the stage with his bloody guitar playing like Jumpy Lars on it. You know what I mean? So we know what Alisson's doing. The rest, I just feel like the young lads are gonna be sat at the back table with the colouring books. You know what I mean? Like, packet of crisps open, sat next to the bar. Everyone keep an eye on them. Getting a bit deadly at the back, Geordie. But I think
who's eating the glob jamming then out of the team? Who do you reckon's the glob jamming thief?
It's defo Adrian. Well, you know what I mean? Because, you know what I mean? He's sat there, Geordie, just getting glob jamming in. I mean,
that's the one. That's a good choice, man. I didn't think about that one. I didn't think about
glob jamming. And plus, he's an absolute tata, so you can have a few more to go with.
It's the only thing he can say.
That might be the craziest Punjabi wedding that anyone could ever think.
Can you imagine? That would be, man. That would be.
Oh, well, all we know is I'm gonna have to make sure that when the guest list comes for my wedding, Parminder and my mother gets it sorted. Get the good guests in. Save a few seats for the Liverpool team.
Get them on the bench, eh? Get them on the bench.
Get them on the bench. Get them in reserve just in case. It. And that wrap us up for this week. We've not mentioned the game for this weekend, the big one, not out of fear, but because we're going to save the excitement, hopefully, for a special edition of the Aapna Reds podcast, where hopefully we can get a deluded fan on from the opposite side to talk about the fixture, to get us brief everything going on. The crazy loony bunch, the not so noisy neighbours at the moment because they haven't got much going on for them. We're talking hopefully a little later on, close to the game of the Liverpool-Man United game at Anfield this weekend. The big one, the one that every Liverpool fan wants to win, and the one that every Man United fan wants to win. So please make sure you keep an eye out for that, and hopefully it's got some extra product in it. And hopefully, if it doesn't, we can make sure we bring them regardless of what goes on, because it's a game that doesn't need much more masala added to it. And as always, thank you very much, Anil, for your time this week. Thank you very much for your support as always. And we thank everyone for joining us this week on the Aapna Reds podcast. And again, hopefully next week, we're not sat here listening to Gurdas Challa, heartbroken and upset. Hopefully we've got some Brown Monday and the AP Dillon gang getting the tunes on for that and hyping ourselves up on a great week for the Reds. And we'll join you next week to find out what tunes are going to be playing. And we thank you, everyone. And we'll see you next week on the Aapna Reds podcast.
Chill out, man.